Right now, though, we're going to jump straight into our relationship talk for the day. Relationship Tuesday, as many of you like to call it. And indeed, today we're talking about what you need to know before you walk down the aisle. With me here, I have Tabitha Kihara, who's the author of The Beauty of Waiting. Karibu sana to the show. You're also a writing coach. And as well, Pastor Lizzie Kamonde, who's a youth mentor and a life coach. Karibu sana to the show as well.
Thank you so much.
All right, ladies. So, of course, getting married is a big deal. Lots of young people looking forward to that. Many have dreamt about, the day they hear that song, tan, tan, ta, like a lot of girls, like you want to hear that song or whichever version you choose to have on your big day as they walk down the aisle. But the reality is, in the day and age that we live in, it seems that so many of us are just rushing down the aisle, right, for the wedding.
Exactly.
And are not really prepared for the marriage, right? And so we're finding that a lot of relationships are not surviving the reality of what marriage actually is. So that's what we want to talk about. I want this to be a very real conversation as far as marriage and what one should expect before walking down that aisle. But maybe you can also just give me your own perspectives and whether you guys agree with that statement that, it seems like today guys are just so obsessed with the idea, not even of marriage, but obsessed with the idea of a wedding day.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, because it's looks so. When you see it, looks so. You really want it, especially actually when you see like a citizen, they normally bring that thing of the wedding and all that, and you're like, oh my God, I want it to be reality. Especially for women, they're the ones who are so obsessed with wedding and all those things, and it's a good thing when you see it, because you're like, oh my God, I want to be the one who is being celebrated. But it's true the way you say that majority of the people, they are prepared for the wedding, but they're not prepared for the marriage itself.
Right.
Yeah.
What would you add to this, Tabitha?
I think it's true. For every little girl, it's her dream to get married. And it seemed to me, when I was little, I really wanted to get married one day. So I think it's true.
But of course, then we are saying that there are important things for us to know before we walk down the aisle, and especially when we're talking about this from a biblical perspective, because hopefully you've not been living together, right? So they often say that marriage is the only institution where you get a certificate before you've actually finished the course. And for many of us, really, we think we know a person, but now after the honeymoon is when now you really begin to dig down and get to know a person. And so with that thought in mind, do you think many of us are adequately prepared for marriage? Are most of us prepared enough before we walk down that aisle?
I think we are not. And what I would advise is, especially young people that want to get married, as you're dating, as you're getting to know this person, you need to know what exactly do you want from this person. Do you have the same vision, the same mission, the same core values? Because if you don't have the same core values, then clearly you're going to have issues at the end. And I always say that marriage is forever, and forever is a long time to be with the wrong person.
That's right.
So it's very important to have to be compatible. Yes.
She's talked a bit about core values. I don't know what you would add to that, Pastor Lizzie.
The core values, first of all, it's good to understand, first of all, you as a person, do you really know who you are? Because if you know who you are and you love yourself, you know who you are, first of all, that means you have a space to bring someone else in your life. Because many other times we don't know who we are. And now we get insight to someone else's life, whereas you have not yet discovered who you are yet. And now you enter in someone else's life. That is the time now you start realizing and start discovering yourself. So at the end of the day, you find that like there is a lot of messes that they are happening because you find yourself, you're two different people. You're not compatible. There is a lot of do and don't between the two of you. You cannot be able to agree on some issues in life.
And so when you think back to your nieces, if you have daughters, cousins, girlfriends, what are some of the things, and I want us to dive into some of the things that we need to be talking about. Or I think you're married. Are there certain things that you wish you were told then, you know, before you got married, before you went down the aisle?
Yes, it's true. I've been married for the last 11 years. And now my advice to my younger self or to another girl who wants to get married is you need to find out the person you're getting married to. Like I said before, do you have the same core values? Do you have the same faith with this person? When you think about finances, are you thinking about it the same way? You know, and also it's very important to also look back at where the person is coming from. You need to find out, are they coming from a polygamous family, from a single parent family? And then you'll be able to understand that where they're coming from also determines your marriage. Yes, because sometimes we have a lot of daddy issues as girls that are not sorted out. And if you don't sort them out, then clearly they'll get into the marriage. So it's very important to have the history of the person you're going to get married to. Yeah,
I like that she's brought up even things like temperaments, or whether the person you're marrying comes from a polygamous family or not, because all of those things subliminally influence the way even we look at relationships, don't they? We talk a lot about finance in relationships, but we look at it in the sense of, do you have or do you not have, or how much do you have? But we forget to ask questions like, you know, what does money mean to you, or where does it fall in your list of priorities? Where do I compare to money? So maybe, Pastor, you could also add on to that discussion as far as if there's certain things that for you really stand out as far as what we need to be talking about before, you know, we send our loved ones down the aisle.
The same way she has talked about, it's you need to know the core values of this person. You need to know the background of this person, especially also the regional background of this person, because the Bible says that two cannot work together unless they agree. And also the Bible says that light and darkness cannot go together. You want to get married, you've already fallen in love with someone, but you don't want to know if the man or the woman is married, and you're like, maybe we can work it out when you're already inside. And many other times that we enter into it, you've already seen there is a lot of differences between the person, and there is a lot of mistakes about the person. There is a lot of a disagreement about the person, but you're like, maybe I'll change the person.
Let me pause you there, Pastor, and ask you this, because that is always a big a big one, right? People are like, oh, but I've been praying for this for so long, and then someone comes along and we're literally willing to take almost anybody because we feel like it's an answered prayer. And a lot of people then at that point you find that they are rushing to the altar, maybe out of their own fear of being alone or fear of losing out. How do you encourage someone that, sure, we want you to walk down the aisle, but at the end of the day, this has to be a very conscious decision. Like your eyes need to be open as you're walking down the aisle, so that you're prepared and willing to put in the work that will be required thereafter.
First of all, I want to say about someone should be emotionally fit. You're physically and emotionally fit. Don't get married because of the pressure. Don't get married because everybody is getting married. Don't get married because age have catch up on you and you feel like everybody have gone. Because that is a place you find yourself like whoever comes on your way. Actually, you're like, however you see, like you can really see green lights, red light, like it's completely, we are two different people. But you're like, maybe we can work it out. So these are some of the things that someone need. You should not be pressured. Because of the pressure, it's all over and you're like, oh my God, I'm the only one who is left. So at the end of the day, you just go and take anything that comes on your way because you don't even really know what you really want anymore. Whoever comes on your way, as long as he's ready to take you down, you're like, I'm in for it.
Let's explain this emotionally fit. What do you understand by that phrase, being emotionally fit? Do you agree with it, though, about entering into marriage where you are stable, you have that emotional security for yourself?
Yes, I do. And I always say it's important to first know who you are. Because when you know self-awareness, when you know who you are, then you love yourself. You're not expecting this person to love, you're not expecting too much from this person. Then because you cannot love from an empty cup. So you need to be contented. You need to love yourself. You need to be self-aware, basically. Then you can be able to give your all to this other person, because marriage is about giving, and you give more and more all the time, not receiving. But when you get into marriage with the thought of you want to keep receiving all the time, then you lose it, you miss it, because you start having expectations on this person. They're not giving you this, they're not doing, but you're not asking yourself, what am I not doing? What am I giving? Am I only receiving? So you have to be emotionally stable, and the first thing is to love yourself. Know who you are, be contented, because nobody else can love you more than you love yourself.
That's true.
Yes.
All right, but we're going to take a short break right now, but when we come back, we want to take some of your questions, and I see some of them coming in. For example, this one by Olivia, watching from Chogoria, who says, Joyce, I rushed into getting married and I'm regretting all of this. The person I married is way different from the person I knew while we were back in campus. We're going to be addressing this and many more of your questions, so do send them in to 22999. You can also reach us on Facebook at Switch TV Kenya, and I'll be back with my two guests here in just a bit. All right, guys, welcome back to Full Circle with Joyce. Thank you for your company and your kind feedback. Someone here says, hey, Joyce, I'm Viola from Machakos. I love following your show because, for real, you are my role model. Wow, thank you very much for that. And you say you hope to meet me one day. Asante. Someone else says, hey, Joyce, my 2-year-old son smiles back whenever you smile. I can't. Oh, my gosh. We are tuned in as usual, watching with my son, Ethan. We're here hiking Mazee Wasema. That's Olivia from Chogoria. Wow. Hi, Ethan. Very sweet. Oh my goodness. 2-year-old fan. How cute. But Olivia actually is the same one who did ask that question, saying that she herself rushed into marriage and she's regretting all of this because she feels that the person she married is completely different from the person that she knew while they were dating back in campus. What would be your counsel to someone in this position right now?
That is why it's always good to dating. They said dating is to correct data. And that is the moment, because many other times that when you're dating with someone, many other times maybe you look at you guys, you just go for pizza, whatever, pizza in and all these things, yeah. But I think when you're making a decision of lifetime, that is not something that you're supposed just to look in a very shallow way. But this is something that you're supposed to look in a very deeper way to really understand, am I really sure that this is the kind of a person that I really want? Because many other times, the kind of a person that you're seeing outside there, you come inside, you find is a very different person. And that is where also God is involved in it. Sometimes it's good also to pray for God to read you, because many other times, in our own eyes, we can see it's all good. Yeah. But you see, it's God who knows the heart of a man. It's God who knows deep about the heart of a man. If this person can change, what kind of a person he is. That is a place that it's not just a physical appearance and not just about the way person is representing himself, but I think it's another place that it reaches where you go deeper to know this person, his relationship with God. Because if many other people who are born again, but let me tell you, it is good to marry somebody who fears God, not just born again. Right. Because many born again people, they're just doing a lot of junk things. But if you have the fear of God, that means you'll be able to sustain, because you have the fear of God.
Okay. Yeah. Tabitha, what would you add to this, considering we are in an age now where even our patience is so limited, right? And so many of us, as soon as there's any sort of hint of trouble, we're ready to run out the door. So, I mean, it sounds like she's been in this relationship for a while, but you can also, in a sense, hear the frustration in her voice. What would you counsel someone like this then? Because a lot of us young people, as soon as things, get messy or dirty, we're just okay, bye, I'm done. And that's where we're hearing, divorce rates too in our country are spiraling out of control.
My advice would be this couple needs to get a mentor couple, a couple that is much older than them, probably maybe 10 years in marriage. And then they also need to go for counseling. And then, you know, marriage is supposed to bring out the best of each other. So I know sometimes we complain too much because we are looking at the other person and we expect them to be perfect, but we are also not perfect. So that would really work very well with counseling. Then a counselor would be able to know, why are we having this kind of challenge? Is it the personality? Is it the way we are using our finances? Why has this love gone down?
Right.
There's no more romance. What is happening?
Yeah.
So it would be really good for them to work with a third party, somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me read some more feedback here. Peter from Casa says, my girlfriend is from a single parent family and we have been dating for 2 years. Of late, I noticed that she is being stubborn and wanting to take charge and we constantly fight. Could it be because of her single parent family background? He's asking. I don't know which one of you would want to take that question. Maybe you can give it a go, Pastor.
Yeah, it can also contribute because how you're raised, you grow looking at the things that they're being done, and that is how you also start doing. The way I'm raising my son today, he will look at the way I do things, and that is how he gonna do things in future. So being raised up by a single parent, it also contributes so much. But also it's also when the person grew up, who are the people that they have been, because also your friends matter so much when you're in marriage.
Sure.
Because some of the people maybe you have also, maybe they are singles, and kind of the things that you guys you're talking, it's about, you know, it's not to build the marriage, it's how you can, maybe this guy, this is how I can treat him when he does this kind of a thing. So also, what kind of friends does this person have?
Okay.
Because your circle of friends really determines so much what you can be able to deliver.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Some more feedback here. Rushing into marriage is so bad. I see it from some people because they have a child from another man who they didn't get married to. So they rush to any man because they just want to be helped. And then they end up fighting daily. And this, I think, is a classic example of people rushing down the aisle just to have that band around their fingers and to say that they are married, because to them now this is like security. Nika sasa huyu mtu ndiye atatuchunga, atatulinda. But how many cases are there of this, you know? And of course it's tough being a single parent, but it also makes you wonder, you know, does that then provide a level of almost desperation, really, to have that father figure in their life, to have that companion, which are all very noble and valid needs. But it certainly could be true that a lot of people would then rush down the aisle because thinking that you're going to take care of children by yourself is overwhelming. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have anything to add on to that one, but I could also jump onto this next question here or comment. Someone says, enjoying the show. Should love be in the equation when it comes to choice of a life partner? Okay, some say it was love at first sight, and for others it grew with time. Please expand on that. That's Purity from Kikuyu. Thank you. That's a great question, Purity. And I'm going to throw it to you, Tabitha. Did you fall in love when you were walking down the aisle? Were you already in love, or have you had to like grow in love, you know, over time?
Okay, maybe I could give my personal experience. I met my husband in church, and the first time I saw him, somehow I liked him. And the reason I liked him is because I had a very strong father figure growing up. And my father was a responsible man. He took charge. He was, you know, and this man, and when I saw this man, because he was the youth leader, he was confident. He was in charge. He was in front there now giving directions to the rest of the youth. And for me, I looked at him and his level of confidence. Oh my goodness! I just knew I like him, you know.
Okay.
And somehow, because I knew what I wanted exactly, and I had my non-negotiables. And when we began speaking, when we began talking, and I remember what exactly made me know that this is the right person for me. And we dated for 4 years. When he proposed to me, he told me, I know you're still in school. I like you and I would want you to be my wife. But because you're still in school, I want to give you time to clear school, and I want to protect you from myself first and then from others later. And it's so important to know what exactly you want in marriage, and even in the person you're going to date. Then it becomes clear to you that you're not going to accept just anybody.
Right.
So for me, when I saw him, I somehow knew I like this kind of a person. I like a confident person. I like a strong person. I like somebody who knows what they want in this life. You know, I could tell he has a sense of purpose, direction, because if you don't have direction, how will you direct me? I mean, I'm going to be a woman under your authority. If you have no direction clear, they will be directing who.
Okay.
So it's very important to especially know what you want.
Right.
Then when you know what you want, it becomes clear to be able to tell, I can take this, and this one can just be a friend, but not for marriage.
So do you fall in love and then get married, or does love develop through marriage?
It develops. Okay.
It
Well,
develops.
of course, when you see the person, you must like them. There are those things that you want. There
Okay.
are those non-negotiables. There are those things you like. Like for me, I really wanted somebody who is tall, somebody who is strong, somebody who takes charge.
Okay.
So somehow there are things I really wanted.
All right.
And I began liking him. And of course, in marriage, it develops.
What
Yes.
about for you, Pastor Lizzie? Like, the love, you know, is it necessary for us, you know, even to date first? Like, as we date,
Yeah.
you know, would you get engaged to someone if you don't love them? Or do you wait for love to grow in marriage? But anyway, you say your points and then I'll tell you.
I believe that you're supposed to get married to someone you really love.
I think
Someone who is your best friend.
Yeah.
Because your best friend, you can talk anything.
Yeah.
Because this is someone that you're going to spend the whole of your life with. So if this person is like a dictator to you, or is someone that maybe you just see like it's a husband, or is a, you know, you can respect him. You can respect him, but that doesn't mean that you should fear the person. So if the person is someone that he's your friend, you know, you guys, you've come to a level like you guys, you're not even dating, but you guys, you're buddies, you're good friends. That means you guys can be able to, at least you can be able to, because if someone is your friend can take anything. Your friend you can share anything with your friend.
Okay.
That means if you love this your friend, I guess that is the best person that you can be able to say, for real, I think I can settle for this one.
Okay.
Because he's already your friend.
I think it's very important to say that love is a critical element of any relationship and of any depth of relationships, right? And so for me, if you're getting engaged to someone, surely you need to love the person, right? Because you need to be able to visualize your whole life with them. That's how you're going to give of yourself in the relationship. That's not to say that love doesn't grow. It should absolutely grow now beyond that point. So what you want when you're getting into a relationship is a good baseline.
Exactly.
Right? So hopefully your love is huku juu mahali, like umeanzia vizuri, so that you can grow, you know, you can grow that. Because I think if we are to say that we're just going to wait for marriage to see if we will fall in love, hiyo sasa ndio mali unaanza kusikia ati mwanamke ni kuvumilia, ndoa ni kuvumilia, and that is not correct.
And that is a place, you know, Marie, here so many people telling you that when I entered into it, I didn't love this man, but I thought maybe probably as time goes, I'll be able to develop
which
his
is
love.
not even fair to the
Exactly. And exactly when you enter in the house, you find the person is completely, this is a person you didn't love, because a person that you really love, there's some things you can see and you can be able to persevere.
Absolutely.
But someone that you don't love, you'll see some other errands and you're like, no, I can't take
that's
this.
not fair to the person.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Well, there's a very interesting question here, still related to our topic because it eventually concerns a wedding. But someone here is asking, please ask your guest whether a wedding is biblical and a must. The church assumes it's a must, whilst the budget can be very demanding. And that's by Ed from Kiambu. And thank you very much, Ed, for that honesty in that question. Again, because as we've been saying, people are rushing towards the wedding and not the wedding, and not the marriage, because we're seeing all these really extravagant celebrations, and a lot of guys are just like, and then what happens after the wedding day?
I know.
So since you're a pastor, I'm going to throw it to you. Is a wedding biblical?
The thing is, when you get your partner, the most important thing is for you people to be blessed by your spiritual parent and by your physical parent. If these people, they have come together, a wedding is just an occasion for people to come together. It's just for you guys to celebrate. But the most important thing is for you people to be blessed, your marriage to be blessed
Yeah.
by your spiritual parent and by your physical parent.
Yeah.
So the whole idea of marriage, wedding, is just for that is
Yeah.
what you want.
So a wedding can be in many forms. I think the question here is,
Yeah.
a wedding isn't necessarily what we see, you know, on these
Exactly.
shows. It's not about
Exactly.
having, you know, 5 Range Rovers as your convoy and, you know, a guest list of 2,000 people that you're serving a
Exactly.
4-course meal. No, a wedding could still be tumeketi hapa na chai na mandazi.
Exactly.
You've been blessed by your priest and your
Yeah,
pastor.
exactly.
And you've made your covenant before God, and that's that. So I think the question, though, is a very valid one, because we've certainly abused this whole wedding process situation. But let's move on to this. Someone here says, what are the odds of marrying an ex and having a beautiful marriage? That's why by one boy. So say these people were dating, they broke up, and oftentimes when we hear this, we like to say they broke up for a reason. So, you know, is it possible to find love and then lead to marriage with an ex?
I think what these people need to do is to find out in the first place, where were they dating?
wrong?
And then why did they break up?
Yeah.
Did they sort out the reasons that made them break up? If they've not sorted them, they will eventually divorce. So I think it can work, but it needs to be worked on. You need to go for counseling before you can actually now agree that we are going to get married. Yeah.
All right. Diana from Chuka says, personally, I walked down the aisle and I don't regret it. What I would advise ladies is they should take enough time to know the man they want to marry. Absolutely. Date with your eyes open. Ask the right questions. And in fact, let me just point out some questions that I found here on the internet. You know, how much alone time do you need? This is an important question to ask in your relationship, because, you know, maybe he's working, you're working during the day. Everybody needs their quiet time. So hakuna mtu anataka kuhandwa tu saa yote, right? Like this, how much alone time do you need, even just conversational wise? You know, do you give each other space? Or how do you envision family life? Right? Like, is family important to you? Are kids important to you? All of those are questions that sometimes we get so caught up in the romance that we forget to ask the pertinent questions of how life will actually be. How do you define monogamy? Unajua kuna wale wanasema, but I've not cheated physically, but they're also talking to some babe on the side. Like, right? How do you define monogamy? Right?
True.
So you'll say, I'm not polygamous because I've not slept around, but you're talking to like every girl in the neighborhood. Very interesting question. What is your attitude about money? As we know, finance causes a lot of trouble in relationships. Things like around holidays, and this is a big one. Oh, I feel we need a whole show on in-laws. You know, because there's that assumption, well, sasa si nimekuoa. Christmas ni kwetu. Easter ni kwetu. What else is there? Shujaa Day ni kwetu. I mean, there's like everything has to be on his side of the family. Even things like fitness, you know, counts these days. Is that a priority for you? Such tusianze kusema, oh, when I married her, you know, when you go to those Rurasho speeches, and then the elders are like, nilimwoa alikuwa hivi, sasa unamwona. Sasa anaonekana kote. No, we don't want those conversations. And even things like, will we still go out on dates, you know, and what is the place of romance in a relationship? So keeping in mind these questions and the sort of feedback that we've gotten from our audience members here. In fact, one saying, I married Mr. Wrong, but I have always adjusted to what he loves and he reciprocated. But I feel like that is a very rare case. I don't know if often that would happen, but maybe you guys can give us your final thoughts too, just reflecting on all we've heard today about marriage and particularly what one should know and be prepared for before they walk down the aisle for their wedding.
What we should understand, that marriage is not the only big day, because after that day, actually, it is you and your husband that goes back to the house. And that is a place now you understand that for real, I didn't really know who I married. So it's a very vital thing for you guys to take your time, love yourself. Don't wait for someone else to come on your way so that maybe you want to get married because you are running away from something, or maybe you got a breakup and now you want to replace somebody else with someone else. But you should be very sure that this is what I really want to enter into.
All right. Very well said. And for you, very briefly.
Yeah, I would say it's good to marry your friend, and then also take time as you're dating. Take time, because time will reveal what interrogation cannot. You'll be able to tell who this person is. Take time.
Absolutely. In fact, someone here just saying, hey Joyce, I'm watching from Nax, and I really wish this show ingeanza mapema like 6 years ago because I'd have made decisions poa kwa life yangu. Wow, what a comment. Thank you very much for that. You've gone on to narrate some issues you're having with your husband, and there's plenty of other questions that we haven't addressed. I'm going to ask our producer Tori to take notes of these so that we can address them the next time we have a relationship discussion. Thank you guys though for all of your feedback and your comments. Thank you to the entire crew and to all of my guests for coming onto the show. I do appreciate your time, most certainly. And with that said, we're going to call it a day. Let's meet here again tomorrow for even more Full Circle with Joyce. Until then, God bless you. Stay safe, wash your hands, and have a blessed day. Ciao.